Hey everyone, back again. Welcome back to another video review. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters episode, Evolution. So the episode starts off with Megatron and Starscream entering a mine, which turns out to be Shockwave's offsite laboratory, in which he's conducting his Project Predacon experiment. And then Knockout meets up with the other Decepticons with Synthetic Energon, which Shockwave states that he'll pretty much examine after the deployment of the army. And then the Predacon arrives, Starscream gets a little offended, and then Predaking pretty much knocks Starscream over, and then he transforms into his robot mode, and states that he will, this is kind of funny, he stated that he'll use that rod and he'll drive it into Starscream's spark. I was kind of like, ooh, he's a nasty piece of work. So, pretty much, he states that, and then afterwards, Predaking apologizes to Megatron for not telling, not telling, about his secret beforehand, and stated that he didn't remember how he got to Earth, and well, essentially he had no memories prior to arriving on Earth, and he learned what he knew currently. So anyways, at the Autobot base, Ultra Magnus is pretty much just hurrying along the Autobots to get their stuff done, and then Wheeljack arrives in coolant and states that he just pretty much amped up Ultra Magnus' ship, and then Prime arrives from his reconnaissance mission, and then they're happy to see them, and then Optimus sees that Magnus is kind of left out. And then on the Nemesis, Predaking, he just pledges his loyalty to Megatron, and he asks him to be put in charge of the clone army, and then that pretty much goes awkwardly, somewhat. And then somewhere in the Nemesis, Megatron states that they have to pretty much terminate the project. However, Shockwave agrees. However, Knockout asks what will happen if Predaking finds out about the termination, and then Starscream says that the Autobots will be in charge of doing that, essentially. So back at the Autobot base, Ultra Magnus is pretty much watching human soldiers doing their drills, and then Optimus arrives and asks what's the matter, and then Magnus stated that his commanding style isn't, gelling with Team Prime, essentially. And then Optimus reminds him that it's not the Elite Guard. Nice reference to Transformers Animated, by the way. And obviously they've pretty much, moved on from that style, essentially. And then before they finish the conversation, Ratchet states that the scanners have located exposed energon, and Optimus states that they have to investigate because obviously they're running on short supply. So then, at the mine, a squadron of Viacons are pretty much digging up some energon, and then the Autobots arrive, they start attacking them, pretty much dealing with all the handful of Viacons that are there. I think there were probably 10 or 12 Viacons there. So, yeah, a lot of Viacons. A handful. So they pretty much do that, and then the Autobots pretty much split up. The Wreckers and Smokescreen headed to the mine to investigate, and they split up, while Optimus and the others pretty much gather up the energon to take back home. So, anyways, Ultra Magnus and Wheeljack, they pretty much find Shockwave's laboratory, and Shockwave notices them and starts attacking, and then he contacts Starscream and states that he wasn't aware of his plan and all that, and then Starscream promptly hangs up the phone, essentially, if you know what I'm saying. So then Shockwave contacts Soundwave to open the ground bridge, and he's able to escape successfully. Not before he drains out all the liquid from the the tanks containing the Predacons. And then on the Nemesis, Starscream tells the whole scoop to Megatron, and then Megatron orders Starscream to take his Seeker Armada to investigate, but Predaking says, "No, I will deal with this myself because this is my brethren, and I want to avenge it." Essentially, he doesn't actually say that, but it's kind of what it comes across. So then the Predacons, pretty much in the tanks, pretty much start to wake up. And then Wheeljack notices the stash of, or notices not the stash, but notices the pile of synthetic energon by the tanks, and pretty much throws one of his grenades at him upon Ultra Magnus's permission, and in the confined space, if you remember that from a couple episodes ago. So pretty much Wheeljack throws a grenade at the synthetic energon, blows up everything, and at the same time, Bulkhead and Smokescreen emerge from the mine, and then Optimus Prime notices, well, not notices, but he also gets attention from the explosion as well. And as Magnus and Wheeljack are heading out of the cave, they encounter Predaking, and they pretty much get affected. The fireball pretty much engulfs them. Well, not engulfs them, but it pretty much blows them off blows them out of sight. And then Predaking gets very mad at Wheeljack and Magnus for destroying his brethren, and pretty much it comes into a massive fight, and Predaking has the upper hand, pretty much beating the ever-loving crap out of Wheeljack, and pretty much getting an upper hand on Ultra Magnus, and then Predaking gets the upper hand just pretty much by crushing Wheeljack into a handful of into a handful of walls. What am I saying? Into a wall, and then pretty much as Ultra Magnus is reaching to get the Forge of Solus Prime, Predaking steps on Magnus' hand, pretty much destroying his hand, literally, breaking all of his fingers. And then Predaking destroys the Forge of Solus Prime by breaking it in half, by just snapping it in two. I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video, about the Forge, because this could foreshadow something, I think. And then Magnus states to Wheeljack that it's been an honor serving with him, and just as about Predaking's about to deliver the final blow, Optimus comes in and pretty much knocks Predaking off his stride, and, well, not off his stride, but off his feet, and then pretty much Prime uses his underslung Gatling gun to pretty much bury Predaking, but that doesn't really affect him, so he pretty much buries himself out, and then Prime gets Wheeljack and Magnus out of the cave. They fly out. They head back to base just in the nick of time as Predaking is just about to pretty much cook them for supper, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so they pretty much escape Predaking, much to the displeasure of him, much to the displeasure of Predaking, and at the base, at the Autobot base, Magnus finds that he's on Ratchet's operating table with his pretty much messed up hand, shall we say, and Wheeljack stated that Magnus fought like a wrecker, and then Magnus asks Optimus if what he was referring to earlier, that could be a greater than an army, and Optimus says that it's a human concept called family, essentially. So, yeah, pretty much it's like what we've seen through the last couple seasons. And then at the end on the Nemesis, Starscream and Knockout, they're laughing for some reason. Megatron promises Predaking that they will make the Autobots pay for what they've done to the project, and then Shockwave pretty much confirms that the whole project is a bust, and then asks Megatron and Starscream to come back to the mine to find that the area is blocked off by CNA and synthetic energon, a combination of that, which essentially was the same material used to create the Dark Mount Citadel back at the end of season 2. And yeah, that is the end of the episode. Overall, it was an interesting episode. It was pretty unique. It was kind of, I mean, we finally get to see Predaking in his robot mode for the very first time, and I guarantee you, now that we've seen Predaking in his robot mode in this episode, we'll probably see it a lot more as the series winds down. Whereas this season winds down onto the epic finale, which I will talk about in the future. And so yeah, overall, very interesting. Now, as I was saying, seeing the Star Saber like being destroyed it near the end of season 2 was a shocker, but seeing the Forge of Solace Prime being destroyed, that's even a bit of a shocker too. But you never know. We could see those relics / weapons come back into play near the end. I'm just saying, it could happen. And obviously seeing Ultra Magnus' hand getting pretty much broken, essentially. Let's say his hand's literally broken. It'll probably be fixed and back to normal. But you never know. We could probably see him with a different, accessory or whatever. Kind of like, like Red Alert and Armada and Cybertron with his tool hands. Or pretty much, it's just the whole deformity of Transformers, essentially. So anyways, overall, this episode was very interesting. It wasn't too bad. It could have been better in some place, but it was kind of epic nonetheless. So that's I'm going to say it's a recommended episode to watch, and you should go check it out. It's pretty amazing. So anyways, that is my video review of the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters episode Evolution. I will see you all very soon. I'll be back as soon as possible in the next video. And yeah, so take care, see you soon, have a great day, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.